So the Rebbe now in Ois Daled, the Rebbe is further going to explain the difference between an Oshir and an Ani, a wealthy and a poor person. Explain it also in the service of Hashem. Sometimes a person is basing his connection to Hashem based on his grasp of seichel. Those are the two lower levels of uh, giving a person who is poor, because the fact that it comes from understanding and it's possible to understand otherwise, that means that it's not yet fully there, as opposed to when he serves the Eibishter um, beyond seichel, beyond measure, nagbola, that's called ashirus. The Rebbe will explain all this in metaphorically in the service of Hashem, the wealthy person and the poor person. Uh, so the Rebbe explained that even the wealthy person before, uh, while he might have uh, a lot, but if it's not his, he's still poor. Doesn't matter if he got it elsewhere from someone else, it's not his own, he's still considered poor. So the Rebbe explains now, Dalet, the Yuvans, Bahagdim. So we'll understand this by introducing the Inyan Ha'ashidus Bepashtus Hu. What is the idea of wealth on the very simple level? Is Kibuva Le'il Siv Gimel, as brought down earlier, Siv Gimel Mahamaimer from the Maimer, Sheha'ashir Yeshlei Loirak Deit Tzracho, Eloshohu Mushpa Beribuy Hashefa. That the wealthy person not only has what he needs, but he's blessed, he's a mushpa, he gets the flow with tremendous amount of flow beyond what he needs. So ba'alpizeh. So according to this, hachiluk bein oni, the difference between a person, in other words, you can have everything and you can still be considered a poor person because it's not yours and you don't have that tremendous flow. So the difference between oni gam ksheyesh lo yidei machsere. So the poor person, even if he does have what he needs, everything that he needs, uh, so even that oni who has everything, there's a difference. Lo oshir who bishnei inyonim is in two matters, in two areas. The poor person may physically have or may practically have de machsere. Even if he has de machsere, because they're not his, he's still a poor person. And the second part is that Hitake doesn't have such a shefa ribui like the oshim. So it says like this: there's in two things. Shagam be'oisom hadvarim sheyeshnam gam lahoni. Even in those matters that also the poor person has, there is still a difference between the poor person and the rich person in the matters that even the poor person has. The poor person is not compared to the ocean. The ha'oni mitzad atzmei hu choser gam dvorim elu kenal shom. The poor person on his own, he actually is lacking these things. He may have it, but the etzem, because he's a poor person, he's lacking can also. But it is just in practical, he has these things. He's been given them, he has them. But even having those things that he needs, he's still not an Oshir because they're not really his on his own. That's one thing. And number two, the Oshir who mushba beribu hashafa, that the Oshir Taka has poshet a lot, is flowed with the lots of flow. Ribu shefa shloyesh klaloni, that doesn't exist by the poor person. He doesn't have it. So even what the poor person has, that's still not like an Oshir because he has it like an Oni. But the Chlal, the Oshir gets a Ribu Shefa, gets a whole lot more than the poor person has. So the Chayre, Tzorich Leimer. So the Chayre, we need to say that the Beruchni is Shnei Ha'inyonim Tluyim Zebazeh. These two matters hinge on one another. In other words, you cannot be an Oshir just owning it if you don't have the Ribu Shefa. The Ribu Shefa makes you into an Oshir so that what you do have, even what you have the same as the Oni, still you have it like an Oshir. Shebichdei Shaha'inyonim Shehu Muchrach B'hem. So in order, those matters that you need, they machsoire sufficient what you are lacking. So even those inyonim yiya etzloi, they should be by him. Loi ba'ofen shemekabel oisom mishalacherim, not in a way that he receives it from others. Elo mitzad atzmoi, but this should be his own. The same flow that the Oni gets, the Oshir gets. In order for him to get the Dei Machsere, it should not be like somebody receiving it, but it should be your own. Udavke al ribu hashefa shalamaylo mimilu hachason. This is davke through the lot of flow that goes beyond the milu hachason. Rebbe wants to explain all this in Avodas Hashem, that the level of connection that there should be on the highest level is when it is in a way of Riba Hashef. As the Rebbe will explain. So what is the idea in service of men? What does it mean by a person to be a wealthy person in service of Hashem, or serving Hashem in a way of an oni? So he says, the kishahavoido shel ha'odom hirak kifi hasogas sichlei hasechel shaloi. When the person's service is only according to the grasp of his seichel, he only is able to serve Hashem based on what he can understand. Azai, so then nois of loze shahavoidohi b'medida v'hagabola, in addition to the fact that this avoida is measured and limited, de machserei, that's only what he is lacking. That's how much you get. So besides that, that he doesn't get a whole big flow, he doesn't get unlimited, but even the limited amount that you get through hasoge, hu choser bipnimi is gam avoida zu. He's also in an inner way, even that avoida is not really the person's. Bipnimius is choser. Why? Even shemitzad ha'asoge yesh nesinas mokum lahepach. Since from the perspective from what he understood it one way, but it's possible that should allow nesinas mokum for the other opposite than what he thinks. So b'meila, okay, so right now he understands, he serves the Eibishter with his seichel, but seichel, it's possible to go the other way. So that means in an inner, he is not really fully is lacking because it's not his avodah, because he hasn't bought into it fully, because it's shaykhs otherwise. That's when it is based on the hasoga. So not only is he limited how much because of his seichel, but it is actually that seichel itself is also not fully his, because it's possible in seichel to think otherwise. ובכדי שתהיה אביידוסה אס ההוויה באופן שלא יישאר בו שום ניסינס מוקם להיפך. In order that his service of the Eibishter should be in a way, there should be no place for the opposite. It's davke through the service which is beyond medita v'agbola, beyond measure and limitation, which is ashirus. So the ashirus, when you serve the Eibishter in a way which is l'maylu medita v'agbola, then even the hasoga from the seichel that you did understand becomes yours. That becomes ashirus. That's why the Rebbe says it hinges one on the other, that to be able to become even de machsere, even the hasoga, that it should be really yours, it's only if there's a flow, if there is the avoida l'maylo. And the Rebbe explains it over there in the Maimer. In order to explain what does it mean, wealth, which is beyond filling the lacking. And as the Rebbe will eventually come around to in Avodas Hashem, in the Eir Hashem, we have Memale Kol Almim, and we have Seviv Kol Almim, and we have the Gilu Atzmus. Here in the pasuk, when it talks about Dei Machseder Asher Yechsaloi, we should give the poor person enough what he is lacking, and the pasuk adds Asher Yechsar Loi, that if the person, another level, which means if the person is used to riding with a horse and having a servant run in front of him, that's not a general lacking. That's what he's specifically lacking. So, and then you have Ashiras, which is beyond that. So that's Memalo Kolamim, Sevu Kolamim, and Gilas. Let's look inside. In order to explain the idea of the wealth which is higher than filling lackings. This is Dei Machseder Asher Saloi, but to understand what is Ashirus. The Magdim B'Hamaimer, so he introduces the Maimer Shogam B'Milu HaChisorin Yesh Shnei Inyonim. Also, first, that to fill the lacking, there are two aspects to it. As the pasuk says, Kimoshe Kosu, the pasuk says, Dei machserei asher yachsaloi. Dei machserei. First, it says you should give him whatever enough that he's lacking, and then it says asher yachsaloi, that's lacking to him. So Amr Razal, our sage blessed memory, say asher yachsaloi, that he's lacking means afilu sus lirkev olom. even a horse that to ride on it, the Eved Lorutz Lefonov, and a servant to run ahead of it. What is these two in Yonim? Behind Shadei Machseidei, the first part, enough that is lacking, who should tzorich lesapik lo kol hadvorim, hanitzrachim l'chol echad, that you need to provide for him all the matters that everyone needs. So there's the general needs, everybody needs. So the first part of the pasuk de machseidei means whatever he needs. Then the pasuk adds, and then the pasuk adds, asher yechsar loy, that he's like, shetzorich l'sapik loy gam zeh, asher yechsar loy, that you must provide for him also this that he is lacking. Sus lirkev alav ve'eved lotus lefonov, the horse to ride on and the servant to run before him. You have to provide for him not just what everybody needs, but what he specifically needs. That horse that he's used to riding on and the servant to run for him. Because that's what he was accustomed to. So you got to give him what he's accustomed to. So we have two levels in what he is lacking. One that everybody needs, and two what he specifically needs. The Ashirus, that's all lacking. Ashirus, Uribui Shefa. Ashirus is a lot of a flow. The Mailo Gam, actually, this is beyond what he is lacking. It's on a different level. But Vayer, so he explains in the Maimer de Gimel in Yonim Elu. These three aspects. What are the three? Shnei ho'inyonim shebimilu hachison. The two parts of filling the lacking. They machsedu nashiyachslo ve'ashirus, and ashirus the third. Yeshnom gam lamailo. It also exists above. There is the level above of de machsedu, ashiyachslo, and ashirus. Uki yadua, and as it's known, shakol inyonim shalamata mishtalshlim inyonim lamailo, that all matters over here below evolve from their matters above. But inyan hu, so what is the idea? Is the behagiluyim shalamailo yesh gimel madreges b'chlos. In the revelation that come from above, generally speaking, there's three steps. Memale kol almim, the level that fills the world, Seviv kol almim, that surrounds the world. The atzmus sof, and the essence of shalamayla memale the which is higher than memale and sev. So he goes through now the explaining details. Memale kol almim hu ha'oir hamislabish ba'olameis u'b'hanevroim. The light that fills the world is the light that dresses up in the world and in the creation, lahachis oisam lifi erkom, to give them according to their need, whatever according to their level. That's the light that dresses up, comes down to them in their level. Okay, that would be like they machseidoi, what they need. That's the Maimer Azal. Maha nefesh memale esaguf. Just like the soul fills the body. Kacha Kodesh Baruch Hu memale soilom. The Eibush that fills the world, that's the memale kulam. The kamoi shachayis hanefesh hamislabish ba'aguf. Just as the vitality of the soul that rests in the body, hu lifi oifon evore haguf, is according to the way of the limbs of the body. The bechol ever hachayis that in every limb the vitality is according to the body, according to its limb, according to the limb. Similar, this is the energy, the vitality of Malakul Almin. He vitalizes every world and every created being according to its value, according to its level. It dresses up. That's Malakul. That would be de machsere, what it needs, the fills in the Musayv of Kolalmim. As Seviv Golam Hu Ha'oir Shalamaylo Mi'Slapshus Ba'ilamis. This is the light which is higher than dressing up in Ilamis. Shalochein, for that reason, Huseviv Umakif Esailamis Bishavim. That's why it surrounds, it circles all the worlds equally. It doesn't dress up inside, it's a general surrounding light. But still, but it's still connected to the worlds. It circles the world, it's above the world, but it's connected to the world. That's what we call it, surrounds all worlds. It's connected to the world. And that could be compared, that would be the level of Ashayach Sadloi. It's still, he's lacking, but it's still connected. This is similar to the vitality of the soul itself. You have the chayis of the soul, which vitalizes the body. That's the memalik kol almin. And then you have the fact that the nefesh itself is a living thing, is the energy, the vitality of the soul on its own. Masha nefesh hi chay ba'etzem, the fact that it lives in its essence. Not only does it provide life, but it's a living, it's alive. The Hagam Shehul Lemailo Be'ein Aroich, this level of the chayis of the Etzem HaNefesh is infinite, uncomparably higher than the energy that expands and dresses in the body. And still, Hu K'moi Moker Shemimenu Nimshach HaChayis HaMisbashet U'Mislavish Beguf. He is like a source that from this level, the chayis be'etzem of the neshama, it's a source that from it extends the vitality that expands and dresses up in the body. Ubechina zu nikra b'shem chay olamim. This is called chay olamim. Chay olamim means he lives forever. Chai bepasach. See, sometimes we find Melech Yochid Chei ha'olamim. Chei ha'olamim, the Chei with a tzedei means he vitalizes the world. Chai olamim lives eternally. Chai means that he's Chai be'etzem. The chiluk, the difference between Chai bepasach, Chai with a pasach, l'chei b'tzedei, and chei with a tzedei who, the difference is the b'chei eilomim b'tzedei, when it says chei eilomim with a tzedei, tevas chei dvuka eilomim. The word chei is connected to eilomim. It's chei eilomim, the vitality of the worlds. Chai eilomim means he lives forever. It's not the life of the world. Those chei Elami means he is the vitality of the world. Hainu hachayus shel ha'elamis, which is the vitality of the world. B'male. Obe chay elamim b'pasach. That means that's chay elamim b'male. But when it says chay elamim b'pasach, it's not the life of the world. Life forever. There's the chay. Is Tevis Chai Eini Dvuka Leilami. The word Chai isn't connected to Elam. Hainu B'chinas Chai Be'etzem. That means it lives by itself, which is the level of Seviv. So that's the Etzem HaChayis of the Etzem HaNefesh, which is like Seviv, or the Chayis HaMispashet into the Evorim and the Guf, which is the level of Mamalim. So we can say we still, it's not chai of the world, it's not, but it's still called chai elamim, words, and it's still called it, the word elamim is a connection to elamim. It's still because it's like a source from which the chayis of the world is extends. So it's still connection, even though it's chay be'etzem. But as we said before also, that from that level of chayis is the mocker for the chayis that is mechayis in the world. That's why it's called chay olamim, because it's connected to the olam. He adds in the Maimer that this level, the b'chinas hasoiviv nikro gamkein b'shem chaye hachayim. It's all called the chayim, the chay of the chay. The chayim who hachayis hamispashet umislabish be'olamis memalim. Chayim, that's the vitality that expands and dresses up in the world memali. That's chayim. What's chaye hachayim? U'b'chinas hasoiviv shemimenu nimshach hachayim is the ha'olamis, and the level of soiviv from which the vitality of the world extends. That's nikra chaye hachayim. That's the chay of the chay. V'zo shomer Razal, and this is what our sages says. Chaye chayim yitan l'cho chayim. Expression is the one who vitalizes the life should give you life, which means chaye chayim b'chinas chaye chayim hu hamoker shemishom nimshach chayim. That's the source from which chayim comes. So you want that source of chayim from Seviv Kulalmin to come down into Memala Kulalmin, from Mechaye chayim to come down into chayim. V'zehu shomer Razal al posik mizmer shir liyom haShabbos. So what do we say? Our sages of blessed memory, when they say mizmer shir, the song liyom haShabbos, the day of rest. What is the day of rest? So it says, Mizmar Shir la'osid lavoi, the future to come, l'yoyim shekuli Shabbos u'menucha l'chai ha'olamim. So it'll be rest and relaxation to the level of chai ha'olamim. The way he teaches is here. Even the level of chai ha'olamim, Bepasach, even the level of Soivev Kulamim Ubchinas HaSoivev, it's going to be Shabbos U'Menucha. There's going to be, right, there's no longer going to be Chaye Elamim, because we're going to reach even higher than Soivev Kulamim. We're going to reach into the level of Atzmus. Ula Osid Lavai, Tiya Shvis U'Menucha in the future is going to be a rest and relaxation. Gami B'chinas Chaye Ha'Elamim. Even from the level of Chaye Elamim. Ki oz yiyeh gilui atzmus sof l'mayla m'shaychus la'olamus. Because then is going to be a revelation of the essence of the Ein Sof, which is even higher than a connection to the world, which is l'mayla gam Sovev, which is even higher than Sovev. U'kamoisha kosuv, as the pasuk says that at that time, Yichayenu miyoymayim, give us life from the 2 days. The 2 days is Soivev Kulamim Malakulamim. Vayom Ashlishi, on the 3rd day, which is Le'osid Lova Yikimenu v'nichya lefonov. Then he'll stand us up, we'll live before him, we'll have the level of Atzmus lefonov. The Yisa b'Likutei Torah, so we find in Likutei Torah the Yoymayim Heim Shnei Hagiluyim the Memala Kulamim v'Soivev Kulamim. That's the 2 revelations of Malak Kulam and Seviv Kulam. So that's La'asid Love is going to be V'yom HaShlishi. But on the 3rd day, La'asid Love is not going to be Memala, not Seviv. Ugilui Atzmus Oirei Sof Shalamaylo B'shaychus La'olamis. That's the revelation of the Atzmus Oirei Sof, which is higher than being connected to the world. Zehu B'yom HaShlishi Yekimenu v'nichya lefonov. This on the 3rd day, he will raise us and will live before him. Pnimius v'atzmus ein sof. We will be by the pnimius atzmus ein sof, and that's why it'll be the higher level, and that's going to be losid love. Ulahoir. The Rebbe is just to point out. So that's what it says in the Maimer. that these are the three madregas, because then we'll reach even higher than Sefer Kolamim, higher than Chaya Ilomim, higher than Chaya Ilomim. It will be Mizmashir Le'Yom HaShabbos Chaya Ilomim. We'll rest, we'll be in a higher level. The Pirush HaPoshut B'Yemayim B'Yem HaShlishi Hu, that the Poshut, what is the 2 days and the third days? Hu Shem Gimel Zmanim. Those are talking about 3 times. Yoimayim, the 2 days, Hem Olam Hazeh Gan Eden. Either it's this world and Gan Eden, or another way, or Olam Hazeh Moisa Mashiach, or this world and the times of Mashiach. Yom Hashlishi Utchiyas HaMesim, and that is Tchiyas HaMesim. So these Pirushim are connected. Ba'kesher Shnei HaPirushim Hu. And what's the connection between the 2 Pirushim? What the Yomayim is, what the 2 days, what the third day is. Shebishnei Hazmanim de Yomayim. In the 2 periods of Yomayim, whether it's this world and Gan Eden, or this world and Yemei Mashiach, Hem Ageluim de Mamale V'Soiver. Over there, it's Chizim Atzmus. That's why it fits in. The 2 days is the Giluyim, Soiver Male, and Yom HaShlishi is Atzmus. The Gimel Inyonim Elu Hanal, and these 3 Madregas, Shnei Ho Inyonim Shebemilu HaChisorim. What we said before, these 2 ideas in filling the lacking. We talked about there was 2 levels. Dei Machseirei, what he's missing. V'asher Yechseloi, what he personally is missing. And then we said V'ashirus, then we have wealth, 3 levels. Ba'giluyim Shalamayla, when we talk about the revelations of above, Hey Megimul Madregas, and now those are the 3 levels. Shnei Ha'inyonim Demilu HaChisorim, the 2 matters of filling the lacking, Hem Shnei HaGiluyim, the Mamale V'Soivev. Those are the 2 revelations of Mamale and Soivev. The Kivon Shegam Oir HaSoivev. Why do we say this is called Chisorim? It's Soivev, but since Oir HaSoivev is Shayich Loilomes, it's still connected to the word Lochein. When this light is not revealed in the world, the world is lacking. Like we say, Razal, the sage of us a memory cell, a posik, on the 7th day, Hashem finished. So it says, Menucha. What was the world lacking? It was lacking the relaxation. So the world was lacking Menucha. But Shabbos b'Menucha. Shabbos brings Menucha. Menucha b'china soivev shalamayla ma'olam establish ba'olam. That's the level of soivev, higher than the world, that the light that fills the world. So it's still, the world is missing it because it's taka soivev, but it's soivev kolami. The world is missing that level. It's Mashiach Saloi. Ba'afa pikeik shloyo gili zeh ba'olam, when there is no gili of soivev in the world, hoyolam chasar, the world is lacking. Shabbos Shabbos, the Nimshach v'Nizgalo Irzeh, Nismalach Chisorim. When Shabbos comes and this light has been extended and drawn down, the lacking was filled. And therefore, Gam Hagilu the Soivev u'Milach Sorim. Even when Soivev is revealed, that's called filling the Chisorim, because even though it's Soivev, it's still a Chisorim, it's still missing. Hello, the difference is Shemilu HaChisorim Shai Gilu the Mamale, Shai Gilu the Mamale, filling the lacking which comes through the revelation of Mamale, who al derech Dei Machseirei. That's the first level of what he's lacking. Umilu HaChisorim Shai Gilu HaSeivev, and to filling the lacking which comes through the revelation of Seivev, who al derech Hasher Yechsar Loi, is what he is missing. Afilu Sus Lirkiv Olo Ve'eved Loris Lefonov, which is the need for a horse to ride on, and the horse and a slave to run before him, a slave to run ahead of him. That's the higher level Yechsaloi. So these are the 2 lackings. The Ashirus, what is wealth? Gilui Atzmus Eirin Sof, the revelation Atzmus Sof, Shalamayla Meshaychus La'ilumais, which is B'chlal higher than Shaychus La'ilumais. The Rebbe explained these 3 levels, the 2 levels in our Chisorim filling the needs, one Memala Kol Almin, one Sefer Kol Almin, and Nashiru is the Gilu Atzmus. This is the 3 times of Meis Elam Hazeh, Meis HaMashiach, or Gan Eden. And then we have the level of Gila Atzmus, which is in the level of Tchias HaMeisim. And that time will be all of these highest levels. Okay, let's leave it over here, and we'll continue. Yeah?
Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you.